We grow as our partners grow. And so we're really excited to be announcing that we're building 3 new offices in Canada. That gives us the capacity to grow meaningfully. But we also announced third-party research that underscored the economic contribution of Google products and services. So with our search and advertising products, we've helped support $23 billion of additional economic activity, and that's supporting 500,000 companies across Canada. The other points that we made really go to investing in the communities in which we're operating and investing to support founders in the ecosystem here more broadly. So specifically, we announced a Google.org grant, $2.5 million to work with an extraordinary group here in Toronto, Empower, that looks at placing people in jobs, giving them the skills they need for the jobs of today and tomorrow. And so what we're looking at with this grant is how can we fund work with digital skills training to create an IT certificate to help people really learn Python. We're 2 areas where we have real acute needs for skilled people to go into jobs. And the other announcement that we made is about opening an accelerator here in Waterloo, actually, that supports entrepreneurs and founders and really helps them scale. So what we're looking at is how do we grow in line with the great opportunity that we're seeing in Canada, and how do we invest in the communities?
How much of that here, but elsewhere globally, is this about social license? Because Google is facing some kind of pushback here. It may be a digital tax. It may be asking to have you register in new ways. There may be content controls. What's your kind of feeling about your relationship with your government partners?
Well, everything I described is not new for us. So our view is we do well when our partners in the ecosystem does well. If you think about what is Google, it's about an open platform, open sourcing what we do so that developers anywhere have the same access to markets anywhere. So it's really core to sort of the values and mission of what is the company. And the digital skills work that I talked about is something that we've been investing in for some time. Our view is that there's a lot of extraordinary upside with technology, but we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to help everybody participate in what that upside is. And it's really important in any change to look at how do you magnify the upside and minimize the risk from the downside or unintended negative consequences. So digital skills, similarly, is something that's not new for us. Investing to support founders and creating things like an accelerator is, again, something that we continue to build on, because what we're looking for is a vibrant, healthy ecosystem. And if we can help entrepreneurs leverage the tools and the infrastructure that we have, it just builds a more dynamic and highly collaborative environment.
As a company, though, you're facing unprecedented pushback on antitrust and privacy. What's the strategy to continue to grow? And you need to grow the ad business, and you've released your broken up numbers for the first time, but also address some of those big concerns, especially antitrust.
Yeah, no, I think that we're obviously very focused on what is it that we can be doing that raises the bar on ourselves. So you started with privacy. Privacy, for us, it's kind of core to the experience that users have. It is their data. They need to understand that we want them to have the controls over the data. And so upping the bar on ourselves, whether it's investing in all of the experiences users have so that they have control over their account, has been something that's been true from the earliest days of Google, but leaning in there, or working with regulators. So as an example, in the US, we're very supportive of national legislation on privacy similar to GDPR in Europe, and our view is that something that makes it really clear that there are standards that are being applied makes sense. But while that discussion is going on, we continue to up the bar on ourselves.
There is talk about, you've seen all the same things, voluntary breakup ahead of any kind of political winds that blow around kind of breaking up the biggest tech companies, Google, Amazon, others. Is that something you guys think and talk about, that there are parts of your business you could live without in order to avoid the worst kind of anti-competitive responses?
Well, our view is that one of the most important things is for us to be really clear about how we're creating value for users and for businesses around the globe. And the investments that we make provide extraordinary operating leverage for advertisers, for businesses. They create extraordinary experiences for users. And so to us, there's a positive flywheel that comes from the types of investments that we're making. The scale that we have, for example, with Android is what allows the 500,000 Canadian companies that we're talking about, whether it's with our platform or with our search and advertising tools, to reach a much broader audience. And so, you need to look at both sides of it. What is it that the scale gives to, whether it's content creators or others? It gives them the reach that enables them to have the impact they're having.
The UK competition regulator found, just looking at cost of capital versus return on capital, that there might have been some overreach of that market dominance. Is that something you need to respond to? Regulators everywhere are starting to look at this more seriously, including in the US.
So globally, we are engaged with regulators. We want to have, make sure our view is that by working constructively with them, sharing data with them, they'll understand how we're approaching things, and we feel really good about what we're doing, but it is about working constructively with them.